Hey everybody, welcome to Matt Men, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Andrew Zarin. I'm joined by the former captain of the New York Knicks, Rich Stambolian.
It's me, baby. They got rid of me for unnecessary roughness. My start ended just like that.
Now you were the captain for the 87 season, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. The Knicks are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Game 6 is tonight at the Garden. Dude, Midtown has been ridiculous. You want a uniter? You want a great uniter, like a worldwide uniter? Go to Midtown Manhattan, okay? Knicks Game 6. Go there today, even if you don't have a ticket. Go to Midtown Manhattan. Just stand there. Multi-billionaires, homeless people, degenerates, freaks, the middle class, everybody's united. All races, everybody's united. There's no scenario where you walk in. I mean, that is the great thing about the Garden, because I don't know how some people get tickets, but it is a multitude of everybody that represents this hellish city.
100%. And the interesting thing about that is that these tickets are not cheap, and that Garden sells out. On last Friday's game, the cheapest seat was $740 on the aftermarket, and courtside was $13,000.
Yeah.
Really insane. So we're going to talk about wrestling, but we're going to talk about the Knicks for another minute. Yep. On Monday night, we went out to dinner, my wife and I, right? We met a couple of her colleagues, and then we were like, oh, the game started. Let's go find a place to watch the game, right? We found the most perfect dive bar on 42nd and 9th.
Which place?
Local 42.
Okay.
Right? 2 screens, super empty, cheap drinks. We hung out the entirety of the game, and that was the best part of the night, and not coming home dejected that we watched the entire game at this place and they lost.
Oh, this is a great dive, by the way. What did you get?
I got a couple of old fashions, and we went old school. We were drinking PBRs.
Nice. Their burgers look great.
Yeah, their burgers look good. Like, we saw like all the food come out, and we were like, oh, next time.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, dude. Just sit at a bar and just watch the game. Also, we also have Yankees Mets tonight.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah. At Yankee Stadium, at the mausoleum that is Yankee Stadium.
At the mausoleum that is Yankee Stadium, yeah. So, very busy day here in New York for sports. I'm going to the city now after the show, and I'm going to try to get the hell out of there before...
Sounds like a chaos.
Before Penn Station, and also, New Jersey Transit's on strike because they want like $1 billion a year in salary, so that's a whole thing, too.
We got a super chat right off the bat from Glassdoor Gamer here. Let me punch that up real quick.
Oh, hold on. Let me help you.
Looks like something's broken. Anyway, happy belated birthday, Mr. Zarian. Can you grace us with a scoop as a reverse birthday present? AEW is fun. Great show, guys.
I think AEW is doing a residency at the Hammerstein Ballroom again.
Very nice.
Okay. How's that?
Yeah, it's a good scoop.
Yeah.
Great scoop. Thank you, Last Star Gamer. That was nice. And happy belated birthday, even though we've said happy birthday to you a million times.
Thank you very much. Yes. Tuesday was my birthday. We went out to the island with the kids and Jess. We went to, Prime 1024 in Roslyn.
Very nice.
Fantastic steak. That was it. That's all I did. I did nothing for my birthday. And it was fantastic.
You went with our financier, right?
I went with our financier. Yeah. My lawyer and my financier. We went with him. He bought me a giant giraffe. Did you see it?
I saw that. Very nice. That's his date.
So it's perfect. Where do you want to start? I guess we should start talking about Sabu, because that was very unexpected.
Very unexpected. PW Insider was the first to report on Sunday that Sabu, Terry Brunk, passed away just a couple of weeks after his retirement match against Joey Janela at GCW Spring Break. 60 years old.
Yeah.
So sudden, so sad. The cause of death has not been disclosed yet.
Now, travesty. Terrible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, he is extremely underrated when it comes to the importance of his legacy. I mean, this guy, I don't think... It's really funny because he's never talked about as that instrumental guy in the 90s that really changed wrestling.
Yeah.
It was like seeing like Faces of Death.
Yes.
Okay. I really like that Born to Be Wired VHS.
Oh my god.
The FMW stuff. This was like porno to us. Like it was unseen. 94, 95, 90. I mean, early Sabu that people don't even remember, like all this Japan stuff, but such an instrumental guy to change the style of wrestling. Was he a high flyer?
I think so. At that time, absolutely. Because I remember in high school, and this is like a weird thing where when I heard the news, I was like, man, like my youth is dying, you know? Because in high school, he was the guy. Like before everybody got into ECW, there was always like a couple of those real hardcore wrestling fans that were like, no, ECW's real, and you got to check this Sabu guy out. Yo, he's nuts. Right. Yeah. And then he's billed as the homicidal, genocidal maniac. And you're like, what is happening?
As Taz printed on his shirt, the homicidal.
Right.
I recommend you guys look that story up. It's hysterical. But, you know, you got to talk about so many things about him. The first, he really, like, out of all my ECW favorites, he was my favorite. He still is. He's still my favorite. Yeah. You saw my Sabu cosplay?
Oh yeah, it's the best. How great I think you should do it for a show in the future.
I'm not allowed to wear that anymore.
I think
every time every time I put that on, I go back in the genie bottle, dude.
Oh,
I don't want to go back in there.
You know, every time I see a fancy bottle, I rub it, hoping you pop out.
I have to say, you know, his style was so unique for the time because it was not clean.
Right.
It looked rough, and, you know, purposely, it worked. His style worked for him. He really was out of his mind, and he didn't care. Yeah. Now, I do want to say, oddly enough, I really feel for Joey Janela here.
Yeah.
Because have you seen some of the comments that he's getting?
Oh, my God, yeah. It's very rough.
That he killed him, that... I saw something today. You know, the reason why this happened is that he did an interview. Joey did an interview, and he was talking about what led up to that moment with the match.
Yeah.
And he was bringing up the fact that, you know, Sabu was, I mean, ironically, which is hysterical, he was going to no-show his own retirement. His knees were buckling. He wasn't in good shape, whatever it was. And his team, not Joey, but whoever Sabu's handlers are or whatever, they gave him Kratom.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it's like Joey, it doesn't matter what Joey said. It was the equivalent of they shot heroin into him to get him into the ring because the man was dying. Wow. If you are not familiar with what Kratom is, you should really look it up. It is a herbal supplement. I know plenty of wrestlers that take it daily for pain. Also, people who have had opioid addictions use it because it's not an opioid, by the way, and that's another thing that people are talking about. Like I saw someone write that it's like 10 times as stronger than heroin, and it's up there like it's like a narc. It's like fentanyl. It's nothing like that. I mean, if you take like 100 of them, maybe something will happen. I have no idea, but it's relatively a safer drug. People use it as a supplement, as a painkiller, if they don't want to take an acetaminophen or a like a naproxen or anything like that. I know plenty of people on it for numerous reasons. One, injury recovery. They're you know, they don't want to take a painkiller. Two, it is. I could tell you, dude. I mean, where we have grown up, right? We could count how many people we know that have died of opioid addiction.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It is a terrible, terrible thing that has taken over. I mean, I could count like 30 people already from high school to now that have died. And do you know, I could name you, I won't name them, but I could, off the record, I could tell you 15 people currently that I know that are on it because they have recovered from opioid addiction. They haven't touched an opioid in decades. And they take this thing as a in-between, you know, if they need it. Now, I don't know how much he consumed of it. I don't know what kind of, you know, kratom he got. I don't know what brand is better than the other one, but I have to tell you, it is extremely unfair to Joey Janela or anybody without knowing what exactly happened as a cause of death to blame him. I you know, that's crazy, and it's unhinged, and it's hysterical. Not in like a funny way, just hysterics.
like hysterics. The internet is always quick to point fingers.
I was like, I feel bad for this guy.
Yeah.
You know, was the match rough to watch? Yes, it was extremely rough to watch. Was Sabu in the best shape? No, he was not. He was in, you could see that he was struggling with this, but it's something he wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, 3 weeks later, he passes away. Is it the cause of death? I don't know. I don't think so. I hope not.
Right.
But, you know, Sabu's also a man that has had numerous injuries and in very poor health, and he's had a history of substance issues, and I don't know what condition he was in now, but that shouldn't deteriorate, you know, what we think of his legacy or who he was and what he meant to wrestling. You know, I just a very unique individual with a very old school gimmick that worked to now.
Oh yeah, for
also
30
on the
plus
same
years.
week. On the same week of his uncle's Dark Side episode.
Dark Side episode. Yeah, I started watching it. I was watching it in my office, and I got distracted, so I couldn't continue watching it. But
it was good.
Your favorite Sabu match?
It's got to be any number of the Sabu Taz matches. Favorite Sabu moment: putting John Cena through the table, possibly.
Heatwave '98. That's one of my favorites.
Joel Allison in the chat says, if you want good insight into Sabu, RVD and Taz did a live stream tribute to him last night. I got to
check it out. Yeah. Obviously the Taz feud, so many good stuff, so many good matches there. My favorite Sabu match probably is Heatwave '98. Barely Legal was fantastic. Sabu versus Taz Barely Legal was great. Hayabusa and Shinsaki against Rob Van Dam and Sabu, and it was the longest entrance I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
That match was wild. That match really made me fall in love with, like, oh my God, there's so much stuff in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, Hayabusa was mind-blowing, but this is a I recommend you guys go and check out some Sabu matches. His early stuff too, which was far better than his later stuff. By the time 98, 99 came, I mean, he was already banged up. Go find some of his, FMW stuff from like 94, 95. People forget he was in WCW at one point.
Yeah.
For a very short period of time. Just a fascinating character that worked.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't think it would have worked on WWE TV as a character. Can you imagine in 1998 what they would have done to him? Or 99 or 2000 in WWE coming out like Sabu?
What year was he in? It was like 2006, right? Where he was in WWE?
He was in ECW for a short period of time. Yeah, 2006. So I don't think he didn't last a year.
Era, right?
Yeah. They wanted him to talk. Vince called him a terrorist. You remember that?
Yeah.
So that was something. But R.I.P. Sabu.
Yeah, R.I.P. Sabu.
All right, what else do we have here? Let me see.
All right, so it looks like looks like AEW has announced a 6-show Chicago residency at Chicago's Byline Bank Aragon Ballroom starting on July 16th and running through July 31st. We've been talking about this for a while, and I think this is the right move, right? Like, do a residency, keep it fresh, keep it cool. You're going to pack those buildings out.
Now, have you seen this building?
I want to say yes, and I don't think it's a giant. It's not a big building.
Okay, it looks. You got to look at a picture of the Byline Bank Aragon Ballroom because it looks like Aragon. It looks like it hosts a. It looks like it hosts like a medieval times tournament.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, this place is gonna sell out. Definitely.
I want you to look how this wacky arena, this wacky ballroom. I don't know how many people. I don't know what they're gonna fit in here, but it literally is a ballroom. A very unique looking ballroom.
If listen, you're doing the Hammerstein, you're doing Masonic temples. Why not do a medieval times ballroom? MG, how many people does that Masonic temple hold?
There was two spaces, and there was a 4,500 and 1,500 in the smaller one. But I think they used the 4,500, the one we saw on TV last week.
Yeah.
According to Glassdoor Gamer, this has a 5K capacity.
Has a 5K capacity. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll draw. They'll do something. I mean, it's a very unique venue. There is a group of wrestling fans, including myself, that really enjoy smaller arena shows like this, smaller like ballroom shows, versus going into like, I'll go to the Garden, I'll go to UBS. Yeah, but I prefer like the Hammerstein, or I prefer something like this. It's so much more intimate.
It's more intimate.
Sit up
it's
top and
way more fun.
Everything.
Yeah,
right.
I felt like I was the Prince of Persia at those shows at the Hammerstein. I'm waving to people like this,
right by the railing.
Right by the railing. There were my people.
People were pointing at you from the. We were in that press section, and people were pointing at you from the crowd, going like, "There he is!" And
yeah, that's how I got cursed by Danhausen, and that's why I have gout. That's one of his curses now.
But he did make the how he made the appearance was I showed up with the lamp.
Yeah.
And a little spotlight shone on me, and then I rubbed the lamp, and guess who popped out?
It was that Muda entrance, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the Muda entrance from Japan with the genie lamp. 6 shows there. I believe there's another one coming also. This isn't the only one. And then I believe when I spoke to someone that may know this, they are going to do the Hammerstein. Which I love. Let's make that the holiday tour. Let's do that for the holiday show at the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Much fun.
3 nights. It's perfect. Because they filmed. I believe they filmed. What did they film? They filmed Dynamite like back to back, but Dynamite wasn't live. It was for the following week.
They did Ring of Honor. They did Dynamite, and then they did Collision.
Right. Yeah. So we went to Ring of Honor, and we went to Collision. We didn't go to Dynamite.
I made it to Dynamite.
You made it to Dynamite. Yeah.
I was dying, and I made it. I was so sick, and I made it to Dynamite, and it was a lot of fun. I gotta stop getting yelled at these shows by people who are like, "Please stay in your seat and stop taking pictures."
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did enter the ring this time, and that was a problem.
I was right in there, and they were like, Okada was like, "Get out of here."
But he was nice about it. He wasn't mean about it. Willow has re-signed with AEW.
No.
Yeah, did he call you a bitch? No.
He called me Rich. He knew my name.
Yeah, he knew his name, dude. Willow Nightingale has re-signed with AEW. This was first reported that after first reporting that she was in a contract year, Fightful reported on Wednesday that she has signed a multi-year deal. Good job. I think she's a great addition there.
Yeah.
The Miz is to host American Gladiators on Amazon. American Gladiators is back. There's an entire generation of people that have no idea what this is. The new cast will comprise of bodybuilders, Division I athletes, CrossFit champions, and fitness trainers. Do you remember how big American Gladiators was?
Oh my God. Did you ever watch a documentary?
No, I never saw it.
The documentary is fantastic. I think it's still on Netflix, but it tells you like really like how these guys got projected into superstardom, because like it was huge. Saturday mornings you watch American Gladiators, and isn't this
right after wrestling?
Right after wrestling. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Is this maybe like the 3rd or 4th remake or reboot? Because
I think this is the 3rd.
Didn't Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson have his own American Gladiators?
No, Hulk Hogan.
That was called.
That was Hulk Hogan and Muhammad Ali's daughter.
It wasn't The Rock and Muhammad Ali's daughter?
No. It was Hogan.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a weird thing because he appeared on Raw to promote it, but he showed up in all black like NWO Hogan, and it was a very strange, like, he was like weird. He was like very out of it.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd time. Now, I believe there were, this is maybe a little inside. I believe Warner was bidding for this. Like, they were in the mix to get this. American Gladiators, instead of going to Amazon. So I find that interesting if they still would have linked up with The Miz to be on, TBS or TNT or whatever they were going to put this on.
Cena had a show on there, so it doesn't matter, really.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. But The Miz is hosting it, and it's coming back on Amazon. Great.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that. I always like Gladiators, man. It always looks so nuts. Did you ever think you could do any of those?
I probably could have, not now. Not now. I was playing like baseball in my backyard with my son, with Hunter, and I'm like showing him how to swing because I played baseball, Yeah. And dude, the next day I was sore from just swinging the bat because I haven't done it in so long, And he's like, "What's the matter with you?" I'm like, "I'm old. I can't do this."
I'm old.
CW president calls WWE NXT an absolute game changer for the network. Brad Schwartz of CW is very pleased with the relationship with the network. It's been quite a absolute game changer for the CW, and I think it's been a game changer for WWE, said Schwartz. This last quarter, it just ended. This last quarter that just ended was the highest rated NXT quarter in 5 years. It's up 19% year over year. Yeah, this was a good move for them, and CW really needs this on their channel. Because,
they needed something.
They don't have those shows anymore that they relied on for years.
Yeah, they completely shit the bed with all the DC stuff, and it got like really awful and wacky towards the end of like all those seasons. And this is a good shot in the arm for them. You know, I feel like CW has always been like the network that could, where it's like they'll have stuff that's wildly popular and then they'll just go away. You know?
Yeah.
Plus, they've added fringe sports that have helped too, like NASCAR, like the stuff like that. So, and ACC football. So, hey.
Yeah. So, I mean, this has been going from, I guess it still caters to that teen-centric content, you know?
Yeah.
Because it is a much younger audience. Like, I got to look at the demo, but NXT is catering to a much younger demographic.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll see. I mean, that's a positive for them, absolutely. All right, let's go into Backlash. We'll do some quick cold thoughts, as MG has wrote on the notes. Cold thoughts.
Cold thoughts on Backlash. That's kind of a. Is this supposed to be a sexy segment, MG?
Yeah, it's a sexy segment.
No.
Where's Jonathan to play sexy music?
Where are your cold thoughts on Backlash, Andrew?
Pay-per-view was a week ago. I figured people have already kind of covered it, but you guys haven't really said much.
We have not spoken about it, so we'll talk about this. Jacob Fatu defeated LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest to retain the U.S. title. But the big story here was Jeff Cobb.
Jefferson Cobberton made his appearance.
That's going to be nice. I'm gonna be into that. Lyra Valkyria defeated Becky Lynch via pinfall. It was a roll-up in the middle of the ring, clean finish to retain the IC title. Very good match. Dominic defeated Penta. Becky did lose her mind. Yeah. Dominic defeated Penta via pinfall, and that was schmaz at the end. Gunther defeated Pat McAfee via submission. And John Cena defeated Randy Orton via pinfall to retain the title. R-Truth got involved.
Yeah.
And then John Cena murdered him at the press conference.
Oh, little Jimmy.
Yeah.
R.I.P. little Jimmy.
R.I.P.
Listen, I enjoyed the McAfee Gunther match more than I thought I would. And I tweeted out, or X'd out, whatever the fuck you call it now, that I would love Michael Cole to interrupt and then hit Gunther with a buckshot lariat. And let me tell you, when he got up on the ring apron, I was like, "Oh my god, he's gonna do it!"
But he did the Bobby Heenan spot, which was almost as good.
Which was almost as good. Yeah, that Heenan spot is so good. It always works. It always works. Let's go to Raw highlights.
Yeah,
you want to go into this?
Yeah, Punk starts the show, cuts a promo on Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. I want to see where this is going. This is one thing that I didn't think I'd be very vested in, but I am because of the Seth Rollins turn, you know, and Punk was talking about like, this isn't the first time Paul Heyman betrayed me, et cetera, et cetera. I thought that was good. Penta defeated Chad Gable. Fun match. I feel like this Raw was like nice and tight. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, it was a tight Raw. I like many of the things that they're doing, like AJ and Finn was fine. I mean, that was good. I like AJ being on TV. He should be.
Long match.
Penta Chad Gable, that feud was going to continue. Penta and Grande Americano. Yeah. The Paul Heyman, I'm curious about this, on where this is going, because he now has created another stable. Is Punk and Rollins feuding again? Is that what we're going back to?
I think so. There was also a thing that is Punk going to be on that Saudi show?
I do not believe so.
Or he got replaced by Rollins on it.
I don't know. I don't know because he for many, many years came out swinging about that Saudi show, and he, blood money and all of it. But I mean, they give you money like the way that they're paying. You're not going to go. Right. I think Punk's eventually going to end up there, but I don't know about this one because I know that, like you said, they replaced on the flyer.
Yeah. The other thing is, I feel like this is headed towards, if you want to leave the writing on the wall, this is headed towards Sami betraying everybody, right?
I don't know. Do you think so? And joining Heyman?
Yeah, Sami joining Heyman for the sole fact that he's never won the big one, right?
You know what? I have to tell you, that would be a nice shot in the arm for him, and for it to be Sami Zayn and CM Punk at SummerSlam, I would love that. And that's a match we have never seen. And this is what we spoke about when CM Punk went back, which was there is somebody at AEW that I speak to regularly, and they are constantly still in disbelief on how everything went.
Yeah. At this point, so far removed from it, would you consider it a dropped ball?
On Punk?
On everybody.
From who? AEW?
Yeah.
I don't. It's hard, and I don't want to. I don't know how much they tried to make it work. I mean, obviously they tried. They tried to make it work, and it was just not the environment. And I don't know. I'm always quick to blame management when you have personnel problems like this. There's only one person you could blame, and it's management. So, and I do that with myself. When I have people that work for me, and when they fail, it's my problem because I did not guide them properly, or I didn't resolve the situation. I don't know. I think it was always going to end up this way. I find it so bizarre how things fell apart so quickly over a promo that happened on TV.
Yeah.
When shooting gets real. So I don't know. I think it's a weird situation, but I think I want to see him and Penta in WWE. I want to see him and Sami Zayn. I want to see all these matches happen.
Finn Balor, AJ Styles, like everybody, put him in the ring with everybody.
Dude, why are we not getting AJ Styles and CM Punk? I mean, why can't we do that?
To see that? Yeah.
Why can't that is a match that we. You want to talk about like bringing back people, right? Because it's such a balance of you got to cater to a new generation of fans. You got to cater to like the people that have been watching. You got to cater to like us, Attitude Era people. You also have to cater to like the older people,
right?
That's a match that would bring a lot of people in. Like, wow, that's interesting. So. AJ Styles, CM Punk. We've never. I mean, most people have never seen it. I think it happened on the Indies, but I mean, that's a tremendous match.
Maybe
to
ROH.
Maybe ROH. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what people forget? Tremendous, like nobody talks about CM Punk's feud with Raven in TNA.
Oh yeah.
How is that erased from all history?
Yeah, his Raven, the promos he cut on Raven were still some of the best I think in pro wrestling.
That was some really good stuff.
Yeah, like coming after him for the drug abuse, like all that. Like when he used to like get really close to the camera, which he still does. But yeah, like those younger Punk promos were always fantastic. Yeah,
they did the that dog collar match, right? I think that was in where was that? I think that was in MLW, that dog collar match. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, the first one, they did. Oh my God, they had so many. They were in NWA Total Nonstop Action, so they did TNA in 2004. Ring of Honor, they continued that in Ring of Honor 2003. So from 2003 to 2004, for almost a year, these guys feuded. Wow.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, almost a year.
So Becky explains her change of attitude, and I really enjoyed the Raw main event. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defeated Julia and Roxanne Perez. To kind of piggyback on what you said, I feel like that is the perfect match to appeal to the new generation of wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Because you have like 4 extremely talented women headlining Monday Night Raw.
They have to constantly build it.
And also to see Julia main eventing Monday Night Raw,
and she's a heel,
is something that I never thought I'd see.
She's not getting a big reaction though.
Yeah,
she's not getting a huge reaction.
They paired her with Roxanne so that she didn't have to talk as much.
Yeah. What else do we have?
I got Raw next Monday, May 19th. You're getting Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker in a non-title match.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, Money in the Bank has reared its head again, so you're going to get some qualifying matches there. Sheamus versus Grayson Waller, and AJ Styles and Penta versus Finn and JD McDonough. Again, that should be a fantastic match.
That should be great.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Saturday night's main event, Saturday, May 24th, next week. Same night as AEW, no? Same weekend.
Same weekend.
Same weekend as AEW.
Yeah.
AEW is on the 25th.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is airing on NBC. World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Jey Uso defends against Logan Paul. People are going to be very upset when I say Logan Paul should get that title.
And do you think people will go effing bananas on the internet, strictly on the internet?
Yeah.
If Logan Paul wins that title.
Yep, 100%. 130% people lose their minds. But, man, you want eyeballs.
But we've also talked about the inevitability of Logan Paul winning that title, specifically that title.
People get very upset when I talk. We talk about this. People get very upset. But I'm like, dude, you have a crossover mainstream star wrestling for you regularly. I don't know him. I don't know what his personality is like. I just know the stuff that he does on the internet. It's not my content. I don't watch that stuff. But
exactly.
I just watch I Love Lucy, to be honest.
Yep.
That's all I watch.
You're a real Fred Mertz.
You're acting like a real Fred Mertz right about now. So I mean, I would do it, and that would get the prophecy fulfilled with what Kenny Omega said, that the main event of WrestleMania will be Logan Paul and Mr. Beast for the world title.
Eventually.
And you know what? And he is not wrong.
Right, exactly.
He is not wrong.
Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny for that title.
We already got I Show Speed on there, and we had him do a spot. So
and do you know what's crazy? None of those people is my content.
Yeah, like I have no idea who. Like it's because it's we're in our 40s. I feel like if you were maybe 13 or 14, maybe 15, you'd be like super into it, you know? Like I had no idea who Mr. Beast was until maybe 3 months ago.
Oh, no, really? No, I know. Yeah. I have to know who he is because that's all my son talks about. They love Mr. Beast, yeah. And he has Lunchables, and he has candy now, and he has this and that, and even like Prime, like and it is a little predatory with the marketing because every freaking 5 to 14-year-old wants Prime.
Yeah,
we don't. We're a non-soda juice family,
right?
We don't have any soda. We don't have any cookies. We don't do any of that shit.
Yeah.
Like we like my wife bakes, or we get healthy options. Like everything is like healthy. My wife has become a crunchy mom over the years, so we don't have any of that. So that's all my son wants. AEW Wednesday night. AEW. Let's go into this quickly.
Hangman and Will Ospreay defeated Takeshita and Josh Alexander. Great match.
Great buckshot.
Great buckshot. These guys had such chemistry with each other to begin with, and I think Josh Alexander has adapted extremely well to being in AEW. Even though he's only been there for less than a month.
Josh Alexander,
yeah.
He's interesting because he is for some reason in TNA he didn't seem large in size. He looks huge now.
Yeah.
He's a big guy and very talented. I really want to see him do something. Like the Continental title eventually for him would be perfect.
Yeah. Yes.
Or the international title. Well, they're probably unifying it, but one of those titles or a TNT title would be great for this guy.
It's a shame that we probably won't get to see him versus Danielson.
Never say never, dude.
Which I know, which I would love to see. This next match, I feel like really upset a lot of people. Ricochet defeated Zach Gowen.
Did it upset people?
I think the impetus of him picking on Zach Gowen last week and taking his leg drove people up a wall.
Oh, I thought that was fantastic. That was good.
Heel, right? What do? You're a heel.
That looked good though.
It looked great. People are confusing. People, there is a weird enigma about Ricochet now. Like there's something strange that happened when he left WWE.
Yeah.
Where people are now very much thinking what he is posting on social media is not a work.
Right.
Okay? And they're getting very upset with him.
That he's working.
And then the same thing happened with his fiance. Are they engaged? Samantha? Are they engaged? As a girlfriend?
I don't. Whatever
it is.
They got married.
Oh, did they get married? Okay, great.
Yes, they did get married.
A couple months ago.
And there's like, it has to do with her also, because the stuff that people are writing to her is insane.
Yeah, but I think that's the price you get when you're on social media.
That's disgusting.
Where like you'll have all
is.
these idiots coming after you for zero reason.
Oh yeah, really? You kidding?
Yeah,
me?
well, yeah, it's never happened to us, but there are a lot of people out there who have a lot of time during the day.
Yeah,
and I do think I do think it's a lot of burners. I think it's a lot of burners. I think it's a lot of.
Unfortunately, I always say you don't know if this person is challenged in some way or they're like 9.
Yeah, 9 or 90.
This is the world that we're in. Most people that you will encounter in life are deranged, and hiding behind anonymity really helps. It brings it all out.
Oh yeah.
The stuff that set the Ricochet, I like. It is it's insane. It's insane to me. Fantastic heel. I thought Zach Gowen looked great.
Oh yeah.
The dude is 40-something years old. He has not been on TV in God knows how many years. He has one leg, and this was fantastic. I did like when he went for a figure 4 on his one leg.
Yeah.
Did you see that spot? That was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was great. He defeated Zach Gowen with a spirit gun. Fantastic.
And his kids, and Zach Gowen's kids were in the audience, so they got to see Daddy wrestle. You know?
By the way, this was a big crowd.
Yes.
I believe nearly 5,000 people were there. This was the biggest crowd. The last time they were there, they did like 2,300 for Collision or 2,600 for Collision. Yeah. So there is something changing here within AEW. Dude, I have to tell you, I say this all the time. I honestly think between Punk leaving and that terrible MJF and Adam Cole program, it really sucked all the air out of that place.
Yeah.
And they played 1 year of recovery, and you could see things are changing a little bit here, especially with their viewership. They did a very good viewership on Wednesday night. The show was hot. People were into it. I thought the main event was really good. So, all right, continue. Sorry.
No. It's been tight. It's been super tight. It's been tighter than it has been, and I think they're delivering on both shows weekly. Like Collision has been extremely entertaining. Dynamite has been, in my opinion, like pretty effing good for the last like few months. I think since before the new year. Her Syndicate.
Here's a comment, by the way. Wheelchair Hulk in our chat room. I'm disabled, and I love that match. Yeah, because it's a story. It's a TV show. It's not real. This man isn't really going after a disabled man, grabbing his leg and mocking him. You need heinous characters on television.
Exactly.
I don't, wrestling is that weird thing because for some reason, certain people in the audience think it's somewhat real and they need to live by like normal moral standards. No, these guys are playing heinous characters.
Right. It's fiction. It's pure fiction, and it's silly. Like at the end of the day, it's oiled up guys in their undies grappling with each other. It's silly to begin with, but we love it, and I think that's what makes it so much fun because you can do these weird things. I mean, like go and watch Dragon's Gate or like what's the one I'm thinking? The insane Japanese promotion.
God, why is it? I want to say War, but that's an old promotion.
DDT. Yeah, go watch DDT stuff, and you'll see how extremely nuts and wacky wrestling could be.
Everybody knew exactly what you were talking about. Everybody wrote DDT at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. There you go, DDT. But listen, you got to do stuff like that, and you got to do stuff like this. The Her Syndicate defeated Top Flight when Lashley submitted Dante.
Okay, did you the hot tag that was cold as ice?
Yeah,
he got the hot tag in, and the crowd did not react, and Lashley murdered.
Oh, Lashley!
There was no recovering on that hot tag. They just got destroyed.
So this is honestly one of my favorite parts of Dynamite for the last few weeks is MJF trying to get into the Hurt Syndicate. They finally give him his answer. Thumbs up from MVP. Thumbs up from Shelton. Thumbs up from Bobby Lashley. How do you feel about this?
It seems like it's swerving. I mean, they're gonna swerve this somehow.
Well, the fact that they teased that they were just gonna beat him down instead come to the ring. And then when Shelton Benjamin went in the back and they go, where's he at? And Tony Khan is sitting there selling him out. He's behind the grill of the desk, like crouched over, hiding.
I think they're going to take all of MJF's money.
I got an interesting message right now.
Oh yeah? Is it from the Her Syndicate?
No, this is interesting.
Can you share it or no?
I'll share it off the air.
Oh yeah?
Someone is watching us.
Very nice.
Yeah.
MJF is going to turn the group into Black Israelites. That's what's going to happen. I would love that.
Dude, that skit you sent me was freaking hysterical. What show is that from?
That is from the John Mulaney show.
The John Mulaney show. Yeah, the Black Israelites believe in a deity, right? A large-headed black man deity.
No, that's the Nation of Islam.
That's Nation of Islam?
Yeah,
not the Black Israelites.
No.
Okay.
The Black Israelites believe that the white man is the devil.
Yes.
Which, I mean, they're not wrong.
They're not really wrong there. But
I have fond memories, and so do you, about these guys right by Penn Station just yelling at every single
I see them all the time.
street.
I mean, actually, to be honest, we were talking about like uniting, like how the Knicks, like the rabbis and the Black Israelites were hugging and kissing for that game that they won at home. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
For a minute, it was the day after 9/11. Nobody was honking their horns. Nobody was yelling.
Yeah. Tonight, man. Game 6.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Game 6, baby.
So the Black Israelites would always yell at white guys walking. I remember every time I walked by them, I'd always get called White Devil. And then one day, same guy who'd always say it yelled it to me, and then he winked at me.
It's a work.
It's a work. It's a work. I was like, oh,
he gave you the icky, dude. He gave you the
I was like, I get it. Yeah.
They're paid by NBC.
So, Her Syndicate at MJF, where do you see this going?
They're going to turn on MJF, and then you'll have maybe at All In Lashley and MJF.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that. Talk about like funky matches. Like Bobby Lashley wrestling anybody. Like you don't want to see Bobby Lashley and Okada. You don't want to see Bobby. I want to see Kenny Omega try to go for a one-winged angel on gigantic Bobby Lashley.
Oh, that would be a nice story.
And what a sweet face on that man. I can't boo Bobby Lashley. Sweetest face ever. Same thing with Shelton. Yep. Same thing with Shelton. Sweet face.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't have a sweet face? That dastardly man, MVP. Not a sweet face.
He's not a sweet face boy.
No, he's not a sweet face boy.
I want to see where it goes, man. Like people are comparing this to Owen in the Nation of Domination.
I know, that's hysterical. I mean, it's the imagery. I can't wait till he comes out in caution tape.
Oh my God.
You could do something where like MJF is running in the back and like he gets wrapped up in like caution tape and he stands up and it's Lashley and it's MVP and it's Benjamin and it's him just standing with the caution tape and they do like a pan out and they're like, oh, okay, we got what you did.
I wouldn't mind that. I feel like you can get away with that, especially because, they have the Owen tournament.
Yeah. Great stuff.
What else do we have here? Mina Shirakawa defeated Timeless Tony Storm, Sky Blue, and AZM via small package.
Azumi.
Mercedes attacks Azumi after the match for winning the New Japan Strong title.
Yeah.
Jamie Hayter cuts off Mercedes. This is leading up to something major.
This is leading up to a lot of stuff. But the big story here, Rich, if you don't know this, when Mina came out, she did not have her song. She had a new song.
Mm-hmm.
And she did her dance.
I saw that.
And the internet unanimously exploded that this theme song is terrible. And everybody tweeted Tony. And Tony Khan, mid-match, decided to go back to the old theme and made a post saying, like, hey, guys, don't worry about it. Look, but the match isn't even over. We fixed the problem.
Wow.
And Mina had her theme at the end of the match. So
that's wild.
That was wild. I really like Mina. I really, really like Mina. I think there's something very special about her. Tony Storm, obviously. Sky Blue returned. Chicago. Yeah. So big return for her. And Azumi, she's, the champion. So this is great. This is good stuff. And look at the pieces now. We were talking about a women's division that had maybe like 2 or 3 top, right? Like interesting top level. Over the last year, between Mercedes, Tony Storm, Mina,
Jamie Hayter.
with Jamie Hayter returning, and Chris Statlander, and Willow, I don't know where Britt Baker is. I hope she returns soon.
Shafir, obviously.
Marina. They're building this. They're building, and some of the names obviously I'm missing here, but they've done a very good job at building this division.
Oh yeah.
Now, does this mean they need a tag title for the women? I know that it's been discussed, but I don't know when they would pull the trigger on that. I think they need a little bit more.
I think so too. I think they need a little more time. They got to figure out that title picture and the whole Mercedes thing before they even think about the tag belt. I think for the ladies division, but it's been doing really good. It's getting very more cohesive.
Very good stuff. Toni Storm is. Toni Storm really changed that entire women's division.
Yeah,
it really. She and not to take credit away from anybody else, but the reality is Toni changed the entire perception of that division.
100%.
Andrew,
it made it a main segment.
Yes.
Like the programs that she's in, and guess what? It's character based. It's not.
And it's
I'm going to kick your ass, and I'm going to kick your ass. No, it's character based.
Remember, Andrew, you and I spent a good half a segment on Toni Storm's promo on how she opened Collision this last week on the radio.
That was fantastic too.
Yeah.
This is something that really tickles my fancy here. Nigel McGuinness addressing FTR.
Yeah, so he apologized to Tony Schiavone for getting in the ring last week on Collision. Something he told Schiavone to never do. He also needs to apologize to Daniel Garcia. He also said that he let his ego get the best of him, robbing Garcia of getting the winner's purse, but realizes his place is at the announce table with Schiavone, and that'll never happen again. Garcia said McGuinness could keep his apology as FTR disrespected him, and he stood in his place. So Stokely interrupts, and says FTR is not there, but of course they would end up attacking him from behind. Matt Menard would come and make the save with a crowbar. This is leading to, I don't know, a 3-on-3? Matt Menard.
3-on-3. Matt Menard, Danny Garcia, Nigel versus FTR?
Yeah.
Or Dana Garcia and Nigel versus FTR with the Cope return?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. That's actually good, too. That's something.
It's going to be interesting. Seeing Nigel in the ring is also very like, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, Nigel's great. I mean, we got to see him in Daniel Bryan,
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Jon Moxley, Samoa Joe in a cage. He defeated Samoa Joe to retain the AEW title.
Bloody.
Moxley was covered in blood after the first commercial break. I mean, just covered in blood. Claudio and Wheeler Yuta are joined by Marina at the cage at the ringside, as Willow then comes out and Powerhouse Hobbs comes out to also go in the corner for Joe. Towards the end of the match, Joe was going for the muscle buster. A guy in a hood who turned down to be. He turned down? Turned down for what?
I think he was listening I think he was listening to that song while he was writing this.
I was. You got me.
A guy in a hood who turned down to be Gabe Kidd gives Mox the briefcase and he attacks Joe. So Gabe Kidd is now with the Death Riders. Also, after the show, the Young Bucks would come out and join the Death Riders, beating up on Joe. Powerhouse Hobbs chases off Gabe Kidd. Kenny Omega would come run down to try to make the save. He managed to take out Wheeler. Okada attacks Omega, hits him in the stomach, throws him in the ring.
This is a very complicated ending. This was like the ending to like an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Like everybody shot
and then the rings, and then he had the rings. Matt Jackson has the controls to the cage. He lowers it down again. Willow and Marina are fighting off when Claudia helps Shafir throw Willow into the barricade. Speedball Mike Bailey chases off Okada. Swerve finally comes out.
Yeah.
Climbs in the cage, dives off the cage into a pile.
Yeah.
Matt Jackson frantically raises the cage so he could get out. The show goes off the air with Swerve challenging Team Young Bucks Death Riders to Anarchy in Arena at Double or Nothing. They insinuated that this would involve the ladies also. So is this a 7-on-7? Cool.
Why not? Why not have like a giant schmoz match like that, instead of 5-on-5, 7-on-7? But it's like, so it's Mox and the Death Riders, right? Moxley, Claudio, Yuta, Marina, Gabe Kidd. That's 5.
Yeah.
Right? Bucks and Okada. So that's 8.
You could do 8.
You can do 8. It's a total. It's a disaster. So obviously, they're gonna do a lot of stuff here. I'm looking forward to that, and I don't love that match. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
AEW Collision Beach Break tomorrow. ROH champions Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara versus Crew. Winner faces the Hurt Syndicate at Double or Nothing. Brian Keith and Big Bill versus Gates of Agony in a Chicago street fight. Kyle Fletcher, AR Fox. Speedball Mike Bailey, Blake Christian, Anna Jay, and Megan Bain. And a tribute to Steve Mongo McMichaels.
Cool.
Why don't we go into some questions? Because we are out of time here. So let's go into something.
We got about 5 to 10 minutes left. We're going to do some of your questions. If you want to super chat us, that's cool with us. Your question will be pushed to the top of the order. This is from Good Doer 627. Are we still getting the Edge and Christian reunion? All in Texas is getting close.
They have to get to it. I don't know what the delay is, but I don't know, because I thought by now they would have started teasing that Christian's making a turn,
right?
But that has not happened yet. So listen. You need. We talk about this all the time. Like who could challenge the Hurt Syndicate in like a realistic way of winning, believably, and you need. I think they would be a good transitionary team to kind of get it and then drop it to FTR, because I can't see anybody beating these guys, dude. They're too big.
Oh yeah,
they're too over. They're too big.
Mm-hmm. They're gigantic.
Yeah,
they hurt people. That's the thing. You need.
I hate that chant. I hate that chant, and I hate the CEO chant.
Okay, why?
I don't know. We hurt people. We hurt. Yeah. It's whack.
This is from West Dakota. Any news on Gail Kim joining AEW?
I haven't heard anything. Sean might know. You should ask Sean Ross Sapp of the
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels. No. Lance Storm does not like it when we call him that.
Shawn Michaels knows.
You know that that gimmick of like, can I just be serious with you for 1 minute? That is real. That man called me and was like, I don't understand why you're calling him that. And I was like, oh, it's like a joke that Rich and I do. He's like, it's not funny. There's nothing funny about that joke.
It's funny.
Explain it to me. I'm like, to me, it's hysterical.
It's hysterical. All my buddies now
Lance Stormies? Lance Stormies.
It doesn't work.
Oh, we brought it up on the radio show, didn't we?
It doesn't work. All my friends now call him Shawn Michaels because of my dumb text messages to them.
That's great. That's great.
I love Shawn Michaels. All right. Do you know if the WBD partnership means AEW wrestlers getting acting opportunities on WBD shows?
I believe so. Yeah. And they've done it. I mean, I don't know if it's acting, but
Cody was on Arrow.
Cody was on what? Arrow?
Arrow. He was on Arrow years ago.
Yeah, but that was CW.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's a crossover for them, yeah, I think so.
Let's see how else we. It's from Good Doer. Gotta ask, any Ring of Honor news regarding TV?
Dude, I wish I had it. I wish I had some news about it. There's nothing.
I wish we could just answer that question and be done with it.
Right? Yeah, like, and it's not the viewer's fault. Like, I would, if I'm a fan of Ring of Honor, I would want to ask that also, over and over again. I want to know, and there's nothing. And that's, the longer this takes, the worse that is. The more you're in irrelevancy, the worse that is. So I don't know. I don't know what the plan there is.
This is a comment from Jesse Razzo. Happy belated, Zerbear, from your 5-star birthday twin. Go Knicks.
Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jesse Razzo. Go Knicks.
This is from Mark B. Who is a wrestler who made a big return, but you completely missed their star-making run, so it was lost on you when they came back? For me, it was CM Punk. Fascinating.
That's great.
That's a great question.
That is such a good question. I wish we had more time. Tony Atlas.
Okay.
Because the only, I would have only seen him as, what is it, Saba Simba?
Sure, yeah.
Right? Because that was, I wasn't around when I was watching him. I'm trying to think who else. I'm sure there's a bunch of 80s guys.
Yeah.
Early 80s. You know what? Bob Backlund?
Oh, yeah. Bob Backlund's a good one. Backlund's a good one because, I had when we were children, I had no idea who that man was.
We didn't miss it, but barely. I would have said if we were a little bit older, would have been superstar Billy Graham, because when he came back in the 80s, he was a karate man.
Yes. He was a karate man.
He was a karate man. So that would have been one.
Remember that.
I'm trying to think anybody else that came back that we missed their big run and it was lost on us. I cannot remember.
Was there anybody who got reintroduced during the Attitude Era?
No, remember that was a thing that wasn't happening often.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Here's one. I got one.
Oh, I got one too.
I got one. Give me yours first.
I can't. I'm trying to what was the Rockers team? It was in the top of my head.
Jannetty?
Mosh and what's the other guy?
The Headbangers?
The Headbangers, yes. The Headbangers came back in 2016. Remember that?
Yeah, but that wasn't a real, like, they were never like a top guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one. Barry Windham.
Okay, perfect.
Barry Windham's running WWE.
Yeah.
Right? Now that would have been one.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Because we never really saw that big run that he had.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't too many of those.
Yeah, and plus we were like East Coast babies, so
yeah,
a lot of the classic stuff we.
You know what? Here's a great one. Dr. Death, Steve Williams. Dr. Death in WWF. Yeah. Yep,
right.
that's a big one too, because people don't realize how big he was in Japan and even in NWA, how dominant that guy was. That poor guy. He was brought in to feud with Steve Austin because they had nobody for Austin to feud with as a heel, and it just
didn't the Brawl for All ruin him. Basically?
The Brawl for All derailed him for sure. Yeah, and that stupid JR turn did not help either.
Yeah. Ready for our next one?
Yeah. That was a great question. We should do that again.
Yeah. Great question. Paul Anthony Moss. I always forget it's been about 1.5 years since Keith Lee was supposed to face Swerve at World's End. Do you think we'll ever see him back in the ring?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm curious about this. That was strange. The Keith Lee stuff. Very, very odd stuff. I'm sure the story will come out one day.
Oh, yeah. This is from Hassan Albana. Jack Perry and Britt Baker returning soon? ?
I don't know. Probably Jack Perry. I don't know what Britt Baker's status is. I don't know what she's doing. That is
filming something recently.
It is a odd thing for her not to be in the mix.
Yeah.
Very odd thing.
Matty P, what song do they play for the entirety of Anarchy in the Arena?
Oh, yeah.
That's some AC/DC, probably.
They should just play New Jack's theme.
Oh, yeah.
Just get the rights to it.
Do AC/DC and maybe a Van Halen.
You know what would be cool?
Panama.
It would be really cool. Sabu's theme.
That would be cool.
Play Sabu's theme. Kind of as a...
Yeah. Play Sabu's theme.
Let's see.
And I got like a minute.
This is from...
A couple more and get out of here.
Brad Smith, is there any update on Camille or Wardlow?
I think still banged up. A little banged up. I mean, Wardlow would be... that's a great question.
Yeah. Probably still banged up, right?
Yeah. I don't know where Camille is, though.
This is a super chat from Glassdoor Gamer. Remember Backlund had the vignettes in the 90s where he was building houses and explaining his leave of absence.
That's why he left for 15 years.
Yeah, but again, as a child, you watch that and you're like, oh, that's his job.
Yeah. Well, like when he showed up, like I think he showed up in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Right? Or like Carlos Colon would show up in the Rumble. And I would be like, who are these guys?
Right. Exactly. Like, you had no idea. Who's this guy coming out with Shawn Michaels?
Yeah.
They told you who he was.
We grew up in a generation where there was no wrestling prior to Hogan. That's how they presented this. Like, WWF,
100%.
like, it was like there was nothing prior to 84, so everything that you've seen, forget about it. Bruno was, like, dead to Vince.
Yeah.
Superstar Billy Graham was dead to Vince. So all of his top guys were gone.
Right.
Like, the only person from that era, really, that was around was Sergeant Slaughter in the 90s, but... Really, he was like kind of part-time. He really wasn't doing much. It was a fascinating transition period because he eliminated everything from the past. So we didn't grow up like how people now, like, Hulk Hogan is in everything. Triple H, Steve Austin, they're all in everything. We didn't have that. It was erased history for a very long time. Like Hogan, Savage, Warrior, that was the beginning of it.
And it was also like, would you consider it revisionist history? Because again, when we were kids, they they shoved that narrative of this is what wrestling always was, and they would never tell you like, okay, Greg the Hammer Valentine, great example. Dusty Rhodes, great example. The King Harley Race, great example. Ted DiBiase. I had no idea that they were world-class wrestlers,
world-class champions outside,
before WWF. Right? Yeah. It was always like, oh, Dusty's doing vignettes and wrestling, whatever, and he's got the lady with him. Or, Ted DiBiase is the $1 Million Man, but he was like a collegiate wrestler and like, very interesting stuff.
Yeah, very.
Let's see. Do you want to do one more and then we'll get out of here?
Let's do one more.
All right. Who do you think, this is from Brian Knight, who do you think should be the new 4 pillars of AEW and the 4 pillars of WWE? All under 30.
Good question. Swerve. I don't know the age. I don't know if Swerve is 30. Swerve, Ospreay, all under 30. MJF, and give me another guy under 30.
Garcia, maybe?
Nah, not a pillar.
No.
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm. Yeah. There you go.
Tony Storm. I agree with you. WWE, Rhea Ripley.
WWE, Rhea Ripley.
Dominic.
Who? Dominic. Yeah. Under 30, right? We're doing Dominic. Yeah, Braun Breaker. Braun.
Great.
Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne Perez. All right, we'll go with that.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there.
Yeah, thank you. Just throw it out there. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Jacob Fatu. There you go. Guys, that's it for this week. I am tired. I wanna go back to my home planet, so I will leave you all now with this message. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye for now.